Welcome to the Alignment Edit. I'm Alia Qureshi, founder of Align Edit Studio. Through the Alignment Edit, we explore the connection between identity, energy, style, space, and personal evolution. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you've always been. Today, I want to talk about something I hear people say all the time. I feel lost. Maybe you've said it yourself. Maybe you're saying it right now. You look around your life and you think, how did I get here? Why don't I feel connected to what I'm doing, right? Why does everything feel a little off? Even when things look fine on the outside, right? For a long time, I thought feeling lost meant that I needed to find myself, right? What I've learned is that most people aren't actually lost. They're disconnected. Now, there's a difference. Being lost implies that you know who you are has just disappeared, right? Poof. Being disconnected means who you are is still there. You've just lost contact with that part of yourself. And I think this happens more often than we realize, right? Not because we're doing something wrong, but because life asks us to adapt. We adapt to our families, we adapt to our relationships, to our careers, we adapt to expectations. And sometimes we become so good at adapting that we forget to ask ourselves an important question. What do I actually want, right? One of the things I've reflected on often is what it meant to really grow up between different worlds, right? I was born in Qureshi. I came to America when I was very young. Like many people who came, who moved between cultures, I learned to adapt very quickly, right? You learn how to belong. You learn how to read a room. You learn how to adjust. And those are valuable skills, but over time, adaptation can become automatic, right? You become so focused on fitting in different environments that you stop checking in with yourself. You stop asking, who am I underneath all of these roles, right? Who am I when nobody expects anything from me? Who am I when I'm not trying to prove anything? I think many people reach a point in life where those questions begin to matter, right? And that's often the moment they describe as feeling lost, right? One of the core ideas behind Align Edit method is that essence is never created. It is uncovered, right? You do not need to invent a new version of yourself. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to completely reinvent your life, right? More often than not, the work is remembering what excites you, remembering what matters to you, remembering, what feels true, remembering the parts of yourself you've neglected in order to survive, belong, or meet expectations, right? One lens that can help us understand this process is astrology. Not because astrology tells us who to be, right? But because it often helps us recognize parts of ourselves that we've forgotten. When I look at a birth chart, right, I'm not looking for predictions. I'm looking for patterns, natural strengths, needs, motivations, gifts. Sometimes what people experience during a chart reading isn't discovery, it's recognition, right? They're hearing something they've always known, but haven't allowed themselves to acknowledge. And whether really you use astrology or not, right? I think that's what self-discovery often feels like, right? Recognition, not invention. The truth is, feeling lost isn't always, a sign that you're failing. Sometimes it's a sign that you've outgrown that version of yourself, that old version of yourself, right? Sometimes it's a sign that you're being invited to reconnect with who you really are, right? And while that process can feel uncomfortable, it's also incredibly meaningful, right? Because the moment you begin asking deeper questions is often the moment you begin finding your way back. So I'd like to leave you with a question. What part of yourself have you been neglecting in order to belong somewhere else? Take some time to sit with that. You might discover that the person you're searching for isn't missing at all, right? She's simply waiting for you to come back, right? If this resonated, Stay here. You'll find additional resources and ways to continue exploring below. This is the Alignment Edit by Align Edit Studio. Alignment isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. Thank you. Take care.